Hello everyone and welcome back to Noble's Rest, where of course Dark Aavak and Yoko are slowly but surely building up a somewhat more stable colony. In the last episode though, we got ourselves a new member. In fact, we got many new members, but in particular, we've got ourselves a new warg. And I'm sure all of you are waiting to find out who chaotically is favoured in the random draw, and it was Rosenkai. Though I also, Rosenkai, there we are. I also noticed the summon did request K, which is why I wrote that incorrectly there, because it's close, so you can sort of half think that you were also favoured by chaotically, if you want to, I'm just saying. I noticed the name in the list. Right, so there's a couple of things that we want to get down to, like, straight away. At the moment, we've got a bit of work going on. Peps is getting back on top of the research, which is actually really, really awesome. We've also got some crops on their way, but there's a lot of other stuff that we need to do as well. One of them is we need to put all of this area under the roofed zone, because ultimately I want to try and mine in here as quickly as we can and start setting up this area for us. I have decided that I am not going to just go ahead and smooth these walls. I'm going to build them. I just like to keep a kind of measured aesthetic. That is a little bit frustrating in some ways, and I'll probably replace it eventually. I know it's more beautiful than brick, but I really do like the uniformity of it. Now, another thing that has been pointed out is that, unfortunately, the batteries are discharging even while uninstalled. That is a bit of a shame. I had really hoped that that wouldn't be the case, but alas, it is. So we're going to have a second spot dedicated for charging a secondary battery. I think as long as it's a conduit that's in a wall, that even two batteries won't cause a big enough explosion to start a fire or cause any significant damage. It'll damage the wall, but it won't break the wall. However, three batteries hooked up, if close to fully charged, will dump enough energy into the explosion that it'll become quite dangerous. So we're going to try and avoid that, if at all possible. So for now, we'll just get that set up. We'll hook up a battery to it so that we've got the capacity to charge two of them, and we will just swap them back and forth. I will still keep this as just a storage room, simply because it allows me to have a lot more batteries stored. Now, having batteries that have a reasonable amount of charge in them stored at any one time is always really quite useful. Right now, our generation, you don't want so many batteries that you can cause enormous explosions, and realistically, as long as you have just about just enough energy generation, you only ever need one, if all you want is to just cover those tiny little blips in production, as with windmills, because they're quite variable. If we had, obviously, solar panels don't produce anything at night, but if we had more of these, unstable power cells, then we could probably even get away with not having batteries at all, because it'd always be a steady trickle of that energy coming in. But for my part, I think two batteries hooked up to the colony will be good enough. We may build isolated circuits, and then we'll have their own dedicated generation and batteries, but for the main part, we're just going to have stockpiles of somewhat charged batteries ready to deploy in the case of an emergency, and that's the way we're going to be rolling with that one. Right, let's get this built out. We're going to need both of these bringing up there, across there as well, and we are going to want these done as well. Now, where do we want roofs? Well, we're going to want roofs pretty much all over here, actually, and definitely around the perimeter of the wall. This would be said perimeter, like so, but that, very specifically, needs to never be roofed, so that we've always got a little chimney to dump dump any heat out into, should we need to. Right, okay, major break risk, Bone Dragon. What's up, Bone Dragon? Let's have a look at you. Why are you so unhappy? Sick, unsightly environment, 8 cooked insect meat, ratty apparel, slightly impressive barrack, disturbed sleep. Now, ratty apparel is going to be a bit of a bane for us, isn't it? Honestly, something that we might want to do is try and trade. To that end, I am strongly considering getting some dedicated crafting, moving the stone, and perhaps even the like a sculptor's table into a little area like here, Maybe we could have something in there. I'm going to draw out that wall, and then I'm going to excavate in here. And we're going to possibly turn this into a little crafting workshop built off there. It'll have enough room for a tool bench down there, crafting station, so on and so forth. It should be fine, I would imagine. We can even possibly have a vent so that it pulls the heat out of this room, which would actually be quite reasonable, though the heat in there is starting to climb now that it's so cold outside. Neither of these will be running right now, so this is just the heat as it's being generated, because it's well insulated and the external temperature is reasonably high at the moment compared to the norm. Right, let's grab this one there as well, and then finally we're going to want a granite door. There we go. Let's get all of this in place. Labrador retrievers join. They've heard of how we have honoured their fallen. This is marvellous, though also incredibly sad at the same time, because... yeah... you've no idea the dilemma that is raging inside of me right now. Efficiency dictates noms. Every other part of me dictates friends, not food. I guess it comes down to the fact that I've got a whopping great ginormous giant cup of coffee right beside me. If this was anything else, it wouldn't even need to be tea. Then even Dark Aavak wouldn't decide that these Labrador retrievers need to be food. However, this is a colony of efficiency. And the colony of efficiency dictates we need more meat. Also, for animals, with the food that we have, it genuinely isn't practical for us to try and keep them. That being said, perhaps they don't need to be food. Perhaps even Dark Aavak can't sin that much. I honestly don't think there's enough coffee in the world to make this not feel horrible. So I have another plan. I've got another plan. It's gonna take us out of the running a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but okay. Let's have a look at these wonderful puppers. Okay. Ah, all of them. Two elders, two. Well, I mean, 3 is, I guess, teenager equivalent. 5 is late teens, very late teens. All right. Okay. I have a plan. We are going to take the Labrador retrievers with us on a trading mission. I'm going to try and give them a good home. We'll find them a new home somewhere. Now, we have enough meat with us to last for a while. We can also take... I mean, I can't easily dictate that Dark Aavak grab those, but I'll tell him to just pack them once we're going. That way, he'll definitely grab that. Okay, I think we need to set this up right now, because the longer those Labrador retrievers stay in the colony, the more likely they are to become food. And yeah, we're not ready for that level of sin yet. Shafted is probably one of the better places for us to go to, I would say. Okay, let's form a caravan. Dark Aavak, you're going with Yoko. I could actually bring Wazenkai with us. No, because that's just more meat we need to bring. But we'll bring all of you. There we go. Move at 10.3 tiles a day. Now, visibility fairly high, unfortunately. I'm going to bring a decent amount of meat. 71 units of human meat. What else are we going to bring with us? I could bring the human leather. Honestly, we've got so little amounts. We may as well just bring that along and trade it. I think that's probably a reasonable course of action. We're going to need 1 human leather bedroll. We don't need more than that. Also, there's a squirrel outside of my window right now. Just jumped along the wall, jumped up onto the windowsill in my periphery, and that is actually quite beautiful. Just it's a little tail flopping around, twitching around more to the point. Well, we could sell the paint stopper, perhaps. I'm a little bit uncertain about that. Let's get rid of the things that we just don't need. Cloth pants can go. Cloth toque can go. That one could go as well. We can bring all of these along. That should allow us to make a decent trade. I could try and... let's take 10 units of jade as well. That is going to slow us down a lot. An awful lot, actually. I think perhaps we need a little bit more food. There we go. Right, we need to choose a route. There we go. It is how long? 1.1 day. Okay, so we can get there and back most of the way. Perfect. Okay, we're going to head out. Yes, no, that's fine. We will be absolutely fine. Let's head into the world. Now, Dark Aavak, I am going to want you to load... How many of these meals do I want to take? All of them. Grab them all. Bring all of the human meat simple meals. Now, who else can cook while we're away? Ica. Alright. Ica, when you can, I want you to cook at the stove. Because we're going to be off. Yes, there is a bit of low food. I know. It is a shame, but, you know, it is what it is. Come on, then. We're heading out, puppers. Eventually. Once Dark Aavak has grabbed a few odds and ends. There we go. Are we good to go yet? No, we're still grabbing a couple of odds and ends. There we are. Is that good? I think that may be good to go. Oh no, was one of the toques an item from Dead Man's Apparel? I think it was, unfortunately. Oh well. I need to make some better paths just around the map. Just tunnels here and there that will allow people, depending on which way they're going, to just take a safer option. Because unfortunately, that initial build-up is kind of disgusting, really. But there we go. They're off on their way. So hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. And on the way, Dark Aavak can forage some berries as well, which the puppers can eat, at the very least. There we go. Let's get that done then, Ica, because there's a lot of food that we're going to need in here. How close are we to being able to harvest these? A little ways off, unfortunately. But we could emergency harvest if we really need to. And there's a high probability of needing that, honestly. The other thing we could do is I could set up a nutrient paste dispenser. It's just that a cooked simple meal made of bad stuff, whilst it is more resource efficient, is significantly less, is significantly more detrimental to their mood than, oh no, a regular, sorry, a nutrient paste meal made of the same stuff, because the penalties stack, which is just really, really wretched. Right, once you've done that, I want you to clear prioritized work. I'll allow you to make the fancy noms, but then you're good. You're good. There you go. Go do other things. There we are. Oh, you're going to cook some more. Okay, well, fair enough. You've got nothing else to do, I guess. Right. Let's go ahead and have a look. You're halfway there. You've gone to sleep. I should really have set the caravan out in the early morning, because that would have been a little bit better for us, because on the way back we're going to be a lot faster. So if it took us 1.1 day to get there, if we'd started right at daybreak, just as soon as they woke up, we'd have been most of the way there. Then we would have popped in and then probably been able to make the travel back in a fraction of that time. So it would have only taken 2 days in total. That's a bit of a shame, really, but oh well. Yoko. Everything, more or less, everything is okay. Unfortunately, really, Ica? What an awful time to decide to do that. Unfortunately, consciousness is going down due to the toxic buildup. That is quite the shame there, really. Let's have a... Oh no, some of them... The toxic buildup is actually going down somewhat. You know, hopping from cave to cave, they're having plenty of time for that to decrease, which is quite nice. There we go. Right, we're back on the trail. It's not going to take Dark Aavak very long to get there, and I'll bring you back when he arrives. Oh, thank goodness. Ica is no longer picking out on food, which means Pepster can stop cooking, because, oh my lord. Although Pepster and Ica actually have a similar skill, Pepster's not really getting better at it, just making people sick. You may also notice that I'm undertaking a rather urgent crafting project over here, and that is because this area is not cold enough anymore. It is warm enough outside that we are not able to keep such a large area inside cool. That crept up on me, something rather fierce. And so we are now desperately trying to fix this. We're going to have to set up a wall over here. I'm probably going to double thick this wall, actually, just to insulate our cooler area. But right now, things in here are spoiling. This is going to spoil in 20 hours. That is, frankly, awful. I am going to need these noms done rather quickly. I've also gone ahead and I've told Ica to immediately start resowing this. So Ica is basically harvesting the heal root where he can and replacing it with regular rice. But Dark Aavak has, at last, arrived at his destination. So let's head over there and check out how that's going for him. Just as soon as we have the planet loaded. Fantastic. Right, trade immediately. What have we got? We've got some turkey. Ooh, now that is tempting. Now, obviously, ranching is now quite good for meat, in that you'll get 50% more meat from a tame animal when you slaughter it than from a hunted animal. But also, turkeys lay eggs. Does it actually say how often it'll lay eggs? It doesn't, no. But I'd be very tempted to take a breeding pair of turkeys. But first and foremost, goodbye, puppers. I hope you find a good home. Ooh, there's... Dark Aav's still got a decent amount of human meat with him. Got some elk meat. Okay, on second thoughts, we're taking... I very much hope that you do manage to find a good home. That is, wow, okay. You've no idea how much my soul aches and scratches at my mind over this. If it weren't for the coffee, I don't think we could leave them here. But I'm going to assume... Oh, wait, that's my bedroll. I'm going to assume they will find a good home. So please don't do this to me. Prestige Recon Helmet. Expensive and beautiful prestige armor like this is usually made for those of high status. Embedded L-Tex threads also enhance the wearer's psychic sensitivity. Wow, okay. That's actually quite an interesting one. We've got a bunch of things here, obviously, but yeah, we are going to be taking meat. We're going to be taking a breeding pair of turkeys as well. So that leaves us 263 for meat. We're not going to take the Labrador meat. No. We'll take as much of this as we can. That is nowhere even close. And want to just bring this all the way up to 69. 68 will do. That'll get us back to camp reasonably well. I'll negotiate. Okay, so plus 7.5% there. That's not too bad. I imagine that the overall mood of the colony towards us is helping out a little bit with that as well. Okay, I'm very, very happy with that. Let's get back. How long is it going to take us? 1.2 days. Yikes. Ah, those turkeys are so slow. All right, though, but we will be able to forage on our way, so that's a good thing. So this now means we've got a couple of things that we need to work on. One, we need to finish this area. Two, we now need an area where the turkeys can live. Now, turkeys, I'm fairly certain, can happily eat hay grass. So we want a proper stable at this point, I would say. It doesn't need to be something large, but a little area where we can stable and ranch the turkeys would be quite nice. Probably something along these lines with a growing area for just hay grass that ideally we would be able to harvest it because it's so much more efficient if you harvest the fully grown hay grass rather than just let the turkeys eat it. But in the meanwhile, we could set something up to that end. I think that might actually be useful. But first and foremost, we need to get this worked on. And to that end, we're going to need to do a couple of other little bits and bobs. Firstly, we need this area to be safe for our miners to go to. Let's set that up. And then we need our people to be able to go out. Now, who are we okay with sending out? Pepster, how are you doing for health? You're doing all right, but you and Bone Dragon are fairly slow. Let's have a see. Who's decent at mining? Unfortunately, Ica is generally decent at a lot of things. I'm actually going to have... let's set... I could set this to a roofed area. I mean, technically it will be. So why not? And that way we can have Evil Friend out there fairly easily. Just getting these roofs built. This will be the first priority. And then I want you to mine a bunch of material down there. Let's get you going. There we are. We need this steel in quite badly. Quite badly. Now, we are going to build out the walls around here. Probably have something like that. And I guess we could have a door there if I really wanted to, but I kind of want to have granite flagstone there instead, and the door across this threshold. There we go. I know, I'm building for aesthetics, and it seems a bit silly, I guess, but still, I would much rather that for the time being. Right, days. Oh no. Cooked cannibalism. Ah, dear. Well, on the plus side, it's not a destructive mood, and you will come out of that in a reasonably high spirit, at least. Bone Dragon, thank you very much for the help there. Evil Friend, once you've grabbed all of this, can you haul the steel back for us? We really do need this done rather urgently, because all of this meat is going to go off. The nighttime temperatures are starting to help a little bit. Temperature in here is dropping, so we can probably extend it just a tiny bit, but not a lot, unfortunately. Right, Evil Friend, just grab all of the steel you can. Thank you very much. Let's get you in. Now, we're going to be listening to that ding nearly constantly, and I do apologize for that. It's going to be annoying, but it is what it is. All right, let's get as much done as we can. Also, given the temperatures are outside now, I'm going to turn this back on. It'll try and keep the rooms to a 30 degrees. It's not grand, but it's certainly not terrible. Right, we need another battery, which is one of the highest charge batteries. That one right there. Ica, could you help with that as a priority, please? Let's get this over there. Pump. There we go. And that is why we keep the batteries in reserve like that. Now, this is a little bit of an issue. We are going to not have any food there very, very soon. Okay, Ica, I am fine with you focusing on getting our food planted, but I'm starting to think that it may be worth us. How close is the rice plants? I'm going to say harvest the rice plants over harvest the corn. Hopefully Ica can get on that pretty quickly, and you're not going to have to resort to cooked cannibalism, but I suspect we may be a little bit late for that. What are you doing? No. No, I wish there was, much like in Oxygen Not Included, kind of an alert priority, which will force people to ignore their basic needs. They'll still take care of critical needs, but they'll focus on other things initially. There we go. Let's get all of this harvested as quickly as you can. Please and thank you. There we go. And once that's done, I'm going to want you to grab as much of this and haul it back. There we go. Grab all of it you can. There we are. That's good enough. Get it down here. And then immediately cook. There we are. Get some food. There we go. That'll do us for a little bit. You can now go and have a sleep. But we do need that taken care of rather urgently. Evil Friend of Bone Dragon. Okay, you're just doing a little bit of hauling. That's fine. Let's get these hauled as well, please. We've got so many jobs for people to do. How far is Dark Aavak out? Not too far. That's good. It's very good, actually. Now, it's going to be a little bit rough keeping those turkeys alive, but thankfully they don't need a lot of food. So that's going to be a small benefit for us initially. We do need to dig through this somewhat soon as well. We've got a lot of things that we need to do over here. One is to build a new vent. We're going to need to expand this wall out. I'm going to try and replace it with bricks where I can. Evil Friend is currently... Oh, wow, okay. Let's cancel these for now. That is not what I wanted you to focus on. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit vexed. A little bit vexed. You know what? Okay, fine. I was the one who very foolishly didn't manage to tell you to focus properly. That's my fault. Still, massively annoying. Oh well. We're going to get some blocks here and there. That's good. Okay, we don't need both of these, so they can be uninstalled at your earliest convenience. And we'll go ahead and install another battery in there just to charge that one up as well. Make sure we've got some backup batteries where possible. Okay, well, I guess you can focus on that one for the time being, but I would actually prefer it if once you're done with that, come down here, and I'm going to have to really insist that you get all of that taken care of. Now, hopefully, we're going to end up with a decent bit of granite here. Now, finally, we've got Dark Aavak back. So, Ica, you can stop cooking. Well, actually, you can have it there, because I do want you to train up. It would be grand to have 2 people working on this. We don't want to be dumping heat in here, so let's make sure that that vent is closed. There we are. Dark Aavak immediately getting on to the work here. Okay, that's fine. How long has this got? Won't spoil. This is actually managing to keep the heat right now. Ah, damn. I need you to break this. There we go. Then I need you to start hauling these. Merge the elk meat, then haul it. Haul all of the elk meat, please. And then haul this elk meat. No! Ah, you scoundrel turkey. Oh, well. I guess we'll allow it for this once. However, we've probably merged some meat that shouldn't be in there. Oh, actually, no. No, we haven't. Okay, phew. That's very good to see. I was a little bit concerned about that. Right. Well, for the time being, our larder is chilled. And so I'm inclined to try and build up the materials we need to get that going. To get all this fully built up properly before we actually crack in there. For now, I'm going to set up a new animal zone. It'll be a ranch. We'll call it coop, since this will be where we keep our egg-laying animals, well, our fowl. I guess we might not keep snakes or lizards in there, but for the time being, let's set this up as a coop. And I know this is a rough idea. It's not necessarily a good one. I'll grant you, but for the time being, let's just get them going. They will eat through our plants, and that's gonna massively annoy me. In fact, to that end, I'm actually going to tell the coop that they're not allowed to eat these plants. I want those to fully grow. The rice, okay, you can pick at the rice, but generally speaking, I would rather you not do anything else. And if you're wondering why I've pulled that wall in again, we will eventually set up a small crafting area there. I was hoping that we'd be able to get that going a little bit sooner than we have so far, but you know, we're making progress little by little, bit by bit. Right, Dark Aavak, what are you working on? You're working on food. Honestly, that is fine. I'm absolutely content with you doing that. I would prefer it if Yuko went for other food, but I'm not going to tell her that she can't. There we go. And that's it, right? Okay, so we've done as best we can for the noms of our colonists who don't particularly like the heavenly noms that Dark Aavak and Yuko are accustomed to. But that's fine. We will continue to try and use steel doors in internal rooms where we don't need to worry about how durable they are. So this storeroom, for example, is a good candidate for that. Let's go ahead and build that up. Oh, no. Oh, did I bring back the human leather? Did I not sell the leather? Oh, no. What a dirt. All that wasted capacity. Taken down there and then brought back. Oh, no. I guess worse things have happened. I'm probably actually going to build this out on the other side as well. We don't need that much extra room in here, frankly. So, reinstall that here, then reinstall that across, I would say. Let's just get these walls done as quickly as we can. There we go. We don't need that there. Reinstall right about there. And hopefully, we can get behind and replace that wall completely. Right, what's the temperature outside? Temperature inside is not doing well. We definitely need to get this this work done rather sharpish. Well done for Evil Friend. They did a lot of good work. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be nearly as close to getting all of this sorted as we are. Thank you very, very much. However, we do need more granite. So that's slate and that's granite down there. I'm going to say go ahead and haul all of this in. In fact, haul all of that in as and when you get the opportunity to. Okay, the final touches are being placed on the cooler here. There we go. Now, much the same as we're using the dual heaters in the venting behind the bedrooms, we're gonna have one set to a much lower temperature than the other, or in this case, a higher temperature than the other. Both of them will work to drop the temperature at least to 10 degrees, but then if there is extra push that they can do, only one of them will try and take it to minus 20. So if it becomes particularly warm outside, then both of them will work to keep the temperature low, and that should help us, even if the temperature does rise quite drastically on the outside. I'm hoping that it does not, but you never can be too safe with things like this. So hopefully we'll be able to take care of that. There we go. I'm also going to, now that we've got a little bit of extra room in here, let's just go ahead and take that away from the couch. Let's not have people leaving tea on the chair. Come on now. That's not civilized at all. There we are. We're getting a good little bit of mining done down here. We're going to need to continue expanding the zone down here to make sure that it is considered part of the roofed zone, but that should be fine. Nice little spot down there. We've also gone ahead and we've finished building out all of the roofing and making sure that this path around the perimeter here is part of the roofed zone. So generally speaking, if someone is working in the roofed area, they shouldn't be they should use this path in order to go and meditate rather than taking any other random path that they might come across. Ooh, it looks like we're bringing in corn. Oh, this is fantastic. The turkeys are eating the rice, which is a bit of a problem, but this, at least, is extremely, extremely good. Now, ultimately, we are going to want to get a... harvest was watched, that's a bit of a shame. We are going to want to get a proper little area for them, and that is going to be the next focus for us. Now, how large of an area do we want? Well, we want a place that is at least 7 tiles tall, and we may as well take it 7 tiles from the wall down here. Now, are we going to go for double? We could do, and then we could have 2 tiles of farm for hay grass. That is very useful. It's even useful in the case of an emergency, since it would allow us to... Oh, that's dangerous. That would allow us to produce kibble as a food source for our colonists. It's not good, but it'll prevent them from starving should the situation arise, and you can get a lot of kibble. It's a very, very efficient way of using your meat, but I'm not entirely set on that one just yet. We are going to need to get meat, though. We are desperately going to have to get meat. We've got Yoko and, of course, Rosenkai, who both are going to need quite a lot of food there. Can you two stay in the roofed zone, please? Let's not have you just wandering around. I'm going to need to go out on another trading trip. It's a bit of a pain. So as soon as Dark Aavak gets up, I want you working on food. Yeah, that is actually quite a pain. We can at least take a bulk of jade to trade for meat. Another option is to go and get human noms from a settlement that isn't an ally. That will have the dual benefit of causing them to want to fight us even more. So it might encourage more food to deliver itself to our colony, and that's always a good thing. But for the time being, go ahead and just make up to 20. If we can't make any fine noms there, then just make 20 simple meals. That should cover the colony while we're gone, because only Dark Aavak and Yoko are going to head out, I think. There we go. Right. Dark Aavak, Yoko, it's definitely time for you two to head on out. So let's go ahead and set up another caravan. Right. We are going to need Dark Aavak. Yes. Yoko, yes. Let's grab... We've got a little bit of insect meat. We're going to bring the insect meat. We're going to bring the human meat. That is for Yoko at this point. I'll bring along 2 meals. That'll be enough to carry Dark Aavak quite far. And then we'll bring as much jade as Dark Aavak can carry. At this point, it would be better if we could bring along a... actually. It is always going to be better if we bring along goods. They're quite... Yeah, let's bring along those 2 revolvers. We'll keep the pump shotgun. I like the pump shotgun. We'll keep that. We'll bring along our silver as well, or 1 of it. But that may be worth our time. I'm not sure they buy the battery. Frankly, we could bring the vertical pulse. Considering the length that we went to get that, I'm a little bit hesitant to sell that. But it might be worth our time doing so. It's a bit of a tricky one, that. A bit of a tricky one, I'm not going to lie. We'll take as much jade as we can carry then. Okay, that'll do. Choose the route. We want to get down here. Take us 1.6 days, given the amount that we're going to be carrying. Alright. No, we're going to leave the bug meat. We need to leave some food for Zenkai. There we are. Accept. Go. Do your best. I'm quite worried. Quite worried. But we will be able to get some food there. Ultimately, if needs must, we would slaughter the turkeys to feed the wargs. But I really would rather if we don't have to, for obvious reasons. Really, I think if we can get the turkeys to the point that they are breeding and producing eggs, producing chicks, then we can slaughter the chicks. Frankly, as brutal as that might sound, it is meat, and again we'll get 50% more meat than normal from the chicks, so definitely would work out for us. How warm is it in here? It's reasonably warm. Dark. How? Oh, Yoko is eating the meat. That's what happened there. Right. Yoko, it's okay. You've got plenty of food for now. Plenty of food. We'll easily get down there and back without any trouble there. That shouldn't be an issue. I forgot to give him a bedroll. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit worried for Yoko and Rozenkai. So a bit distracted there. My apologies. Let's get that battery set up so we can charge it. Top up the charge in there. I'm completely fine with just allowing them to exist where they are. But to that end, we are going to get back to setting up this this new area here. We will have... Let's grab some structures. And sure, we'll use marble. We need only 1, 2 from the back there. So about here. 1, 2. Something there. Then we could do exactly the same on this side. 1 across. 1, 2. We can have 2 large fields of hay grass and a bit of a gap in the middle, traveling up. And then we can have the actual nest boxes at the top there. And I think that would actually work quite well, personally. So we are going to want 3 up, so 1, 2, 3. Then we'll have the marble walls at this point to isolate this room. Now, of course, on the outside, we are going to need to worry a little bit about double insulating it. But we don't need to double insulate... well, we'll need to double insulate this perimeter wall, but not the internal wall. That's where the egg boxes themselves are going to be kept. It's a very small area, though. I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm a little bit concerned that this isn't large enough for our animals. And I wouldn't like for them to be completely restricted. Well, I mean, we don't have a lot of room to play with, unfortunately. This could be a little alley heading over here, I suppose. We might need to adjust the way that I was designing this, but we could do that in order to allow this to work. Because we're going to have marble on the inside, then maybe... Yeah, sure, we'll bring this double wall out there. All right, we're going to have to change up our initial plans for the new bedrooms over here. That's fine. I think we can make that work, especially given what a good cause it's for. So we're going to split this back. We'll probably have to dig a little bit deeper as a result. We'll have a door there, probably a little chimney around here. Hopefully we can do that. In fact, let's turn on the roofs. That's a bit of a problem then. we'll probably have to have the chimney down here then. Still, it's not the worst. It isn't the worst scenario that we could be faced with. But the chimney is going to have to be there, unfortunately. Because that, well, assuming that that isn't a thick overhead roof. If that is the case, and it is, then this is going to be an even more complicated scenario. But still, we'll try and build towards it. The reason why I can't have the chimney be here is because this is overhead mountain rooftop, which we can't dig through. We can't remove that roof. So we wouldn't be able to make a chimney there properly, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. All right, let's get to work then, peeps. We need to get these areas set up. Now, you may be wondering, well, you know, what's the significance of this design? Well, we'll have a double path going through here. We'll pull this wall away, because again, we don't need double insulation on an internal wall. So this will just all be marble, and we're going to keep up with the marble theme. Why not, I guess? This should be fairly easy for us to set up. We are going to want probably double doors, really. Can we get those built right in here? We should be able to. And we'll have some vents around here as well to allow the heat to be transferred. And that should help out quite a lot there. We're going to need to move the power up and around. Ooh, actually, the power does need to run along this wall because that's how we're connecting there. So we're going to have to drop the power nodes down a little bit, like so. And having them run across the door is not necessarily a problem. So that should be fine in the grand scheme of things. Let's go ahead and set up the zoning for this area. We are, of course, going to want the entire thing under roof. There we go. And we will add this into the roofed zone as well. That way our colonists know that it's safe to walk in this area. There we go. There we are. We're slowly filling out. Now, are we going to have enough power? We should have quite a lot of power, and indeed we can always hook up the solar power plant there to help out a little bit more as well. There we go. We've done a fair bit of beautification in this episode, much more than I was expecting us to do, I'll be honest. There we go. It's not strictly the most efficient use of our resources, but given people's low moods, I think having pretty areas for them to work in is probably quite an important one. Okay, well, you can go ahead and nom in there, I guess. All right, how are we going, Dark Aavak? We're almost there. Fantastic news. 0.1 days until we arrive. Now, I need to see how Yoko's doing. You know, not great. Yoko hasn't hungered, at the very least. I would feel awful if Yoko had hungered in this trip. But what about Rosenkai? Rosenkai, what are your needs like? We should be able to get back, especially when we're not carrying a truckload of jade with us. We should be able to get back with time to spare before Rosenkai gets seriously hungry. But he's probably going to be getting a bit of a rumbly tumbly. Right, okay, well, the Labradors are here. That's very good to see. Well done. The alpacas would be grand. But no, we're not here to grab any alpacas, unfortunately. We'll sell off the berries, sure. Saigati, no, that's staying. All of the jade, goodbye, unfortunately. 2 revolvers, we're only going to get 18 for them? Ouch. Scarcely worth it. Nevertheless, we brought them, so we're going to sell them, but yikes. We really do need some people to attack us soon so that we can turn them into very finely crafted dusters to sell for rather large amounts of money. But for the time being, do we want... No, we're not going to go... We're still not going to go for it. I refuse. 100% refusal. We are not going to be able to get over much here, unfortunately. And that is quite the shame. Let's go all the way down to... Yeah, we're not going to be able to take 79 back with us. Not grand. Not going to lie. But it's something at least. We should get back fairly quickly. And I'm starting to think that maybe the best option for us is to hit one of the sites. Now, the Red Snake Ambercan, they are a pirate tribal faction, or at least, basically, they're completely savage. They will never have an alliance, and they hate everyone but them. The pirate factions over here, obviously, hate everyone but them. So we would have significantly less issue with attacking them, and certainly it probably wouldn't make anyone angry with us. But Of all of the factions that dislike us, these two are the closest. They are likely to have guns and other such useful things for us to collect. These ones are unlikely to. Nevertheless, they could pose a serious threat. So what we might want to do is just get in there, take as many people down as we can, and then leave, carrying as many people as we can. I'm not sure that we'd be able to completely clear the site, and that is quite a worry. We'll have to see. We will have to see. But for the time being, let's get the cotton plants replanted. We've got some cotton on the way in, which is fantastic. We're already using some of that. We've got a good wealth of cotton there. That's absolutely brilliant, because we do need to get this tattered apparel, the tattered apparel issue resolved. That is going to continue to be a problem for us, unfortunately. Okay, well, work is going to continue on the ranch over here, and once we've got that properly set up, eventually we will be able to bring in other animals, such as alpacas, which we would then be able to shear for wool, or even the hefty muffalos. They would be absolutely grand for us to have in the colony, because we would get so much meat from butchering them. But for the time being, we are going to have to just focus on our poultry for now. Do we have a nest box? I mean, we've got sleeping boxes. We'll just leave it with the animal spots for now. But they'll have proper sleeping boxes up here in the top area at the very least. Right, okay, well, there's plenty of work for us to do, but I'm afraid that's going to have to wait for the next episode, because we have run all out of time. Dark Aavak is on his way back with some meat that I am probably going to more or less reserve exclusively for the wargs. To that end, I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm going to suspend fine regular noms. We're going to leave that suspended for now. We only want that meat used for feeding the wargs. I may even stop Rosenkai's training. No, I think we're going to continue with the training for the time being, but we'll have to see how that goes. We are probably going to have to consider raiding an enemy faction for resources, quote unquote, in the very, very near future, unless Randy wants to send us a raid, which I'd be 100% okay with at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you very much for joining me, though. I really do hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you will be joining me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.